Kafue River, one of the longest rivers in Zambia. Stretching over 1,600 kilometers through exotic landscapes, the Kafue River is the largest tributary of the mighty Zambezi. Throughout its course, the river is a natural lifeline, supporting activities like fishing, transportation, irrigation, and most importantly, hydroelectric power generation.
When you look at the unique opportunity we have with the Kafue River, starting with the Teji Dam, which was constructed primarily as a holding reservoir for what we are now calling Kafue Upper. There's already an opportunity which was presented that you could actually install a power station at the Teji Dam itself. So apart from just holding the water, you could actually harness the resources there and be able to come up with a second power plant. Now, interestingly, just slightly further down from the current Kafue Upper, you could then still put up what we're calling the Kafue Gorge Lower. When you look at this arrangement, it's almost like a battery of stations, and we call it a cascaded arrangement. That is one of the strategies that we are engaging to make sure that we maximize the utilization of the resources that God has given us in this country.
In 2013, ZESCO Limited established a special purpose vehicle SPV company, the Kafue Gorge Lower Power Development Corporation, KGL, to oversee the development and implementation of the 750 megawatt Kafue Gorge Lower hydropower project.
The Kafue Gorge Lower hydropower project has been in consideration for quite a while now. The initial feasibility studies for the project were commenced in mid-1970s by ZESCO, a company that was engaged to develop a second phase of the existing Kafue Gorge power plant. And they also extended to start feasibility studies for Kafue Gorge Lower. Since then, several other feasibility studies have been done between government and private partners, mainly with World Bank, that has looked to investing into the construction of the Kafue Gorge Lower. The most recent one was through an MOU between government, Sinohydro, and the KAD Fund, to where they looked at developing their project through an MOU. The previous attempts to develop the project have not yielded much because at the time, although even now not yet cost reflective, the tariffs for sale of power in the country have been significantly lower than cost reflectiveness. And that has led to investors that have come to the project, once they've seen the studies, not willing to invest their money because then they cannot foresee when they could recoup their investment into the project. In 2012, government decided to give this project back to ZESCO, and that ZESCO should competitively tender the project. And based on that process that was commenced from mid-2012, invitations were sent out to engage EPC contractors to develop the project, leading to the award of the contract to Sinohydro, leading to the process that we are in now to construct the power plant.
My work is give the solutions to the site construction, technical solutions of the site construction. After 2 years construction, the dam excavation is completed by this year, and the leveling concrete for the dam foundation is also done. We are almost ready for the RCC construction. And for the waterways, we completed the hydraulic tunnel. It's done already through. And the surge shaft almost finished. The excavation almost finished. For the power tunnel, it's still under the construction, but we almost finished also. And for the powerhouse, the excavation is done, and now the concrete is under construction. So we can say the works is on track.
The Kafue Gorge Lower Hydropower Project is located on the Kafue River some 53 kilometers upstream before its confluence with the Zambezi River and 17 kilometers downstream of the existing Kafue Gorge Upper Hydropower Station, KGU dam site.
This is for ZESCO, this is our flagship project. We're very excited to be undertaking that project at this moment in time, because if you recall, you note that we haven't been undertaking projects in the past 42 years. So this is a very key project because it will support our vision, and it will obviously generate power that will be used in the region, in Zambia, as well as the region at large. As you may note again, the economy has been growing at a very fast rate. So in order to support the growth of the economy, you need power.
The scope of the KGL project extends well beyond constructing just the dam and the power plant. Due to its sheer magnitude, the KGL project requires quite a number of supporting infrastructure.
This project is divided into two phases. The first phase is what we call infrastructure works. They are enabling works. Under infrastructure, we have the road works, starting from the main road between Lusaka and Chirundu, and also the roads within sites. We also have the administration building for Kafue Gorge Lower Hydropower Development Corporation. We have the guest house that has to be constructed. We have the health center that has to be constructed, and we will have 157 houses for the staff that will be here, coming from Kafue Gorge Lower Hydropower Development Corporation, as well as other stakeholders such as government workers, because we will have a school that will be run by government, a boarding secondary school. We are also going to have a primary school. We will have the sports center for recreation activities of the people that will be here during the operational phase. We are also going to have a police post just to ensure that there is law and order during the time. Then we have the main works. The main works, that's where the power will be generated. And the main works has various components which fall in categories of civil engineering, hydromechanical and electromechanical.
Once the critical infrastructure, such as roads and temporary electricity supply to the project, are put in place, works on the dam construction can begin. However, because the dam's location intercepts the flow of an existing water body, the first step is to divert the said water. In this case, a tunnel had to be excavated through the hill, leading past the selected dam location and back out to allow the river to continue its original course downstream. In addition to this tunnel, another critical tunnel, technically known as the headrest tunnel, leading to the penstock, needs to be excavated out. Once the dam is in place, This is the tunnel that will connect the water reservoir to the power station.
The facilities or the construction site where we are is what we call the intake structure. We're trying to construct an intake structure where we'll get water to convey to the power station for power generation. On my left, you're seeing Kesha River, which is a tributary to the Kafue River, and the main dam wall will be further down. So we impound water in this area, and once we impound the water, it is through this intake structure that we'll be able to convey water to the power station through what we call the headrest tunnel or the main power tunnel. It is through this tunnel that will convey water to the power station for power generation. As you may be aware, this is the hydropower station we are building, and we need water as a prime mover to drive our machines for power generation.
In order to maximize time and work efficiently, various components of the project need to be constructed simultaneously. Thus, while works on the dam and the headrest tunnel progress, further downstream, another team of engineers focus on the construction of the powerhouse, where the 5 electricity generating turbines will be housed.
So where we are here, it's the powerhouse. What has been completed are excavation works, and now the primary concreting works are in progress. And then we've started putting in the embedded parts in the powerhouse. For example, the draft tubes on unit number 1. Number 1 has been done; it's almost complete. We just need to do the final setting. Once the final setting is done, number 1 should be ready for concreting. And then number 2, installation works are in progress of the draft tube. And then for units number 3, 4, and 5, the parts for the draft tube embedded parts have not yet arrived on site. Then other works that have been completed at the powerhouse, we have sections of the penstock which have already been installed and embedded in concrete, because those sections are sitting along the wall for the powerhouse, just below the crane beam. So those need to be completed so that we have the beams completed for us to have the crane installed, because we need the crane to be installed before we can bring in the heavier components for installation works. What you see around the powerhouse now are tower cranes, which are being used to lift the smaller loads. So we need the cranes to be installed before we start the larger installation of the larger components.
Critical projects like the KGL are constructed with the aim of operating efficiently and trouble-free for a very long time. This does not happen by accident. In order to ensure that there is total compliance by the building contractor, KGL has engaged a third-party engineering firm that specializes in dam construction to assist supervise the entire process.
Norconsult is the engineer for the client KGL. We are supporting KGL for the site supervision, and in the beginning we have done the review, the design review, which has been done with people in Norway and with some people here at Zambia. In the first time we had 2 men here on the site, the chief geologist and the junior geologist for the excavation works. And since end of 2017 we have now more people. then Norconsult got an addendum with KGL for site supervision. We have here now one engineer for health and safety. We have one engineer here for quality control. We have one engineer here for planning, a further engineer here for mechanical works, welding, and just now we got another engineer for electromechanical installation.
Once online, the KGL will produce a total of 750 megawatts of power, or in excess of 2,500 gigawatt hours of energy per annum. This is expected to make a considerable impact on electricity supply in the country.
Currently, when we look at our projections, we have a slight shortfall. I think 2018, 2019, it's growing. It's a growing shortfall. And 2020, if we don't do anything, it will be quite huge in terms of shortfall. So by Kafue Gorge Lower coming on board, it ensures that that shortfall will no longer have it. In fact, we're going to have a slight surplus. And this will also work well with our vision, which is to become a hub of power trading in the region and beyond. And this excess that we get from Kafue Gorge Lower will help us to be able to trade more power and maybe make more money for the country and for ZESCO.
In addition to considerably improving electricity supply in the country, the KGL project, once completed, will further improve power distribution efficiency as well by adding additional evacuation lines.
The Kafue Gorge Lower Hydro Power Project is going to have 3 evacuation power lines. One line is a tie line between Kafue Gorge Upper and the Kafue Gorge Lower project. 2 lines will come from the Kafue Gorge Lower project, and 1 line is going to terminate at Lusaka West substation. Right now we are at Lusaka South Mount Facility Economic Zone, and this is where the other line is going to terminate from. The 132 kV lines that are going to emanate from this substation are ideally to strengthen the Lusaka network, supplying power to Lusaka and the areas around Lusaka.
Big installations such as the KGL hydropower project require a lot of space to accommodate all the different components and facilities. As a result, it is inevitable that some households already residing in the area will be affected.
In the year 2010, ZESCO conducted an environmental and social impact assessment for the Kafue Gorge, for the implementation of the Kafue Gorge Lower project. During the environmental and social impact assessments process, about 25 families were identified in the river, along the river reach between the existing Kafue Gorge upper power station and the proposed location for the Kafue Gorge Lower hydropower station. A detailed socioeconomic assessment was conducted so that these families could be properly identified and then engaged, and then options to resettle them could be also identified. 13 families out of the 25 that were identified originally came from Hachipilika village near Siavonga. They were willing to be repatriated back to Hachipilika, and ZESCO through KGL decided to provide facilities that could assist them settle back into the Hachipilika community. Standard modern houses were constructed for these 13 families. There were other support facilities such as a health center, additional buildings and facilities to the school. The road was graded, and water was also provided. This was just to enable the host community cope with the additional numbers of people that were returning to Hachipilika.
Anganda ndijisiba na bari 8 abo biro bamaniha grade 12 abo biro balai ya grade umwa grade 10 grade 8 so bonse bali komene kwiya kwifa Hachipilika bajana chikolo kira kwakwe so twalumba kutuyakira manda aba ZESCO kambo kwa kundalike detinda jisinga ndaibo tope so twalumba maningi kuli ba ZESCO amana twakalumba kutuyakira kliniki ba ZESCO kliniki ira kwakwe twakalumba maningi alimu achikolo kutubikira domu yabashijikolo yonse twalumba maningi.
Somewhere around 2012, there was no clinic here. So people used to go to either Chilundu, Mission Hospital, or Kafue Gorge. Yes, but after the clinic was built by the ZESCO people, it has helped the clinic very much. Our population here is 1,944. That's our catchment area. The services that we provide are, one, we offer OPD services, we offer MCH services, we do HIV testing, we offer option B+, we do outreach services, that is under 5 clinics and HTC.
So when the ZESCO people came in, they helped us with the dome for the girls, as well as they rehabilitated a 2x1 block for the school. And then they also sank 2 boreholes, which we are using for water, as well as the kitchen and the dining for the girls. Before the dome came in, they had to travel a long distance to come to school. Now, upon building the dome, they are there and they are close to school, and the performance has changed. It has improved the performance of girls. And it has also reduced the early pregnancies, okay? Because they were exposed in the villages. Now they are closed in there. So it has really helped us.
The KGL Power Project is scheduled for completion in the latter portion of the year 2020. This is the first in the series of quarterly updates of the project that will air until its completion. These programs will not only keep you informed on the latest developments at the KGL project, but will also give you, the viewer, a front row seat to the entire process of planning for and building a hydropower station.